my name is Nicole, and today I'm going to be talking about the California State budget causing future teaching and attitude changes. So just to kind of elaborate a little bit more on what my claim is, basically what I'm trying to say is that because of the Cal State budget being cut down, it has been noticeable between students and faculty the disinterest that has grown over education. I'm going to define what the CSU budget is, and I'm sure we're all pretty much aware of what it is, but it's basically a proposed budget giving a certain amount of money to the CSUs, basically to pay like the staff, the faculty, and give cool improvements like the new suites that we're building over there. But basically what I just kind of wanted to ask is, how many of you have felt that it has been extremely difficult to sign up for classes this school year? And like adding and begging teachers to just get in has been impossible. But basically with the California State budget, with these new drastic budget cuts to the educational system, many students are unable to sign up for classes, and a lot of the classes are a lot bigger, and the student-teacher disinterest is just completely deteriorating. So according to the Cal State website, the budget reduces state general fund support from the CSU for the current fiscal year of 2008 and 2009 by $97.6 million and call for additional $66.3 million cuts for 2009 to 2010. Overall, the reduction places CSU at $283 million below its operational needs, and that's approximately 10%. So I kind of just went around and started asking people around, and I asked a student here at Cal Poly. Her name is Sasha Ramazani. She's a fourth-year student here at Cal Poly, and I asked her how she felt this was affecting her education, and she stated that when the Cal State budget cuts was introduced, I did not feel it was going to impact the university too much. This school year, it has been noticeable with the amount of classes being offered, being a communications major, it has become a race to see what you can get, and you cannot even choose the days that you want to go either. The teacher opinion that I got, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Professor Oz Mikowski. He's a communications teacher here. I'm currently enrolled in his COM 108 class, and in the beginning of the quarter, he was stating on how, at most, the class was filled with 25 students. And now, in the class that I'm enrolled in, it has 50 students, and he also said that it has become a lot more difficult to have a one-on-one experience, especially in a communications course. Me being a communications major, this field is really like a one-on-one. You can't really just have a big old class to teach students. I mean, this is something that needs more focus and more concentration, and I'm sure that's for every other major that's out there as well. I was browsing online, and I found a video on YouTube from Cal State Fullerton, and I kind of took some quotes of what students had mentioned. One student mentioned that she just felt that it was unfair, just plain and simple. But another one stated that she chose to attend a Cal State university because it was a decent tuition price and she was still getting the great benefits of an education. But the reason why she chose it was because she was trying to save money to go to graduate school. But now that the prices have gone up, graduate school seems to become like more impossible to reach. Okay, so my second claim that I'm going to try to go into is that, I'm not sure if you guys read the Poly Post, but there was an article in the Poly Post that kind of referred to students preferring to attend universities such as USC and like the big private universities. To me, I kind of see it as like kind of sad that students feel this way because Cal Poly Pomona is rated the top 10, one of the top 10 Cal States to attend. And at the same time, though, as I was thinking about this before I was preparing my speech, I can see how this can work as well, because USC is a private university, and they're not really affected by these Cal State budget cuts. And these budget cuts are making like Cal State universities seem very mediocre, and everybody's just like, oh, Cal Poly or Cal State Northridge or Cal State Fullerton, and it really shouldn't be seen that way. I mean, an education is an education, and it's gonna depend, like, you know, prosper your futures and stuff. But to somewhat conclude my speech today, a lot of teachers and students feel that there is a lack of interest in the topics that are being presented in classes. A lot of teachers that have been teaching here for many years as well and have these overwhelmingly large classes are like teaching on autopilot. It's the same thing. I'm sure we all have those teachers where you just sit there in class and you're just like, God, why am I here? Like, I'm not even learning anything. And that's just really sad. But at the same time, like, because us students are having that sort of opinion, the teachers kind of just see that as a disadvantage and kind of see it as like, well, why am I here teaching if they don't even care? And I just feel that these budget cuts should not be taken so much out of our education because it really does affect the future, and we are the future, and the students that are coming into college are the future. So education shouldn't have money being taken away from it.
The subject areas should be interesting to students because they're affected by what you're talking about. I think the phrasing on your claim is still a little bit vague. You were talking about losing interest or involvement in what's going on. At the very end of the speech, it becomes kind of a shift in what your emphasis is, and that is that we shouldn't be using budget cuts as a way to fix the budget, especially in the educational institutions. And I think there's an argument to be made there, but it's not very well developed in this speech. What you're focusing more on is the impact that these things might be having either on teachers or students, and I think that you need to be a little bit more focused on that. The one example that you have that I think talks about that issue is your comm class and the number of students that are in that class and the impact that it's going to have on the way in which the class is taught. That is only the one particular case, and so it would be helpful if you had some additional data and other experts talking about that. I know Oz, I can imagine what he said and how he said it. At first, I was having trouble following the structure. Now, it got a little bit clearer. When you got to the second point, it was a little bit more clearly labeled, but it just seemed a little like you were wandering around on that first point, and you need to be more focused. There's some factual data on the budget. I thought that was pretty clear. Dependent on a lot of public opinion evidence. We don't get any comparative data. For instance, you talk about how there's been a change, but I don't have any. I'm sitting there thinking about all the students who are bored with their classes or instructors who are tired. And you know what? I've been hearing that argument for 25 years. So how is it new? How is it more? How do I know that there's an impact because of the budget cuts and not simply because we've got a new generation of students coming in? Every 4 years when you get a new set of a new class, or I guess every year when you get a new class, you get new people who feel the same way. So I think that there needs to be a little bit more developed on that. Also, like I said, right at the end, you seem to be shifting to an argument about what the impact of the cuts might be on the long-term health of the schools, and that, I think, could have been a lot clearer and more focused argument for you. All right, thank you.